Hey guys, it's Solbyte, and today I'm going to be going over stacks. So what exactly is a stack? So a stack in the terms of a data structure is just a type of data structure that uses the LIFO technique, which means last in, first out. And it does this in order to store certain elements. So what exactly is LIFO? What is last in, first out? What does that exactly mean? So just imagine you have books, right? And imagine you want to stack these books on your desk. So the way that a stack would work, kind of in programming, is you would put the first book down, then the second, then the third, and then imagine that you want to take a book out, right? And the way that you would do that is you would take the book at the very top. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't take the book at the very bottom, would you? Because then the entire thing would just break, or the entire stack would just fall over. So you would basically take the book that's on top first because that was the last one that you put down. And stacks in programming work the exact same way. So whatever the last element that you put in the data structure will be the first one to be removed. And this can be very useful. These are, stacks, you can think of as like the undo button, right? Like on your, the undo keybind, like on your computer, right? So like if I write a cout function here that says hello world, right? And let's say I printed that just a couple of times. If I hit Control Z, then the very last thing that I did gets removed, right? And a stack works in a very similar way. So you can see kind of how this can be important for certain functionality if you wanted it to. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and actually create a stack. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to include the stack library. And we get this from the standard template library. So let's go ahead and include stack. All right, perfect. And now let's actually create the stack. So if you guys have seen my vector video where I created a vector of, I think I used basketball players or something, it had this kind of syntax, and we're going to use very similar syntax for the stack. So we're going to do stack and then the specific data type that we want to do, that we want to store in the stack, and then the name of the stack. So we'll just name it my stack. All right, perfect. And now we have a stack. But obviously there's nothing in it. So how do we start adding and how do we start removing certain elements into this stack? So the main functions that you'll want to know of are going to be push and pop. All right, so push is what we're going to use to add elements to the stack. So if I want to add the number 2 to our stack, then I would use my stack.push and then fill in 2 in the parameter. All right. And if I wanted to then remove the last element that we included in the stack, then I would just use .pop. And we don't need to include anything in the parameters because no matter what, it's going to remove just the very last element that was placed in the stack. So essentially what's going on is we are adding 2 to the stack here, and then we are deleting it immediately. So yeah, so let's actually kind of see that this is indeed an empty stack by using 2 more functions here that are important to stacks, and that is going to be the empty function. So this basically is just a true or false that checks if the stack is empty or not. And let's see out this, so that way we can actually see if it is indeed empty. And then the other thing that we want to do is we want to check the size of the stack, which should return 0 in our case, so we're just going to use .size. All right, so these 2 functions are important for stacks as well. They're very useful for checking if it is empty and checking the size of the stack. So yeah, let's go ahead and actually run this and just be 100% sure that the stack is actually empty. So we get 1 meaning true, of course, for my stack being empty, and we get 0 as far as the size of the stack. So perfect. But what if we wanted to, let's say we didn't even want to actually delete anything, right? And instead, let's say we actually want to kind of print some of the values in the stack, right? So how would we do, how exactly will we access the values of the stack? So the way that we can access the values is if we use something called top. So the top function, what this is doing is it is returning the value that is at the very top of the stack. So the very last element that was added to the stack, this function top is used to return that value. All right, so let's see out this really quick. That way we can see that it will return to. And then after that, let's actually try something a little bit more complex when we have even more values. So let's go ahead and compile this really quick. See if it works. All right, perfect. So we get 2, since 2 is indeed the value that is at the very top of the stack, and we get 1. And just for example, if we did have more elements in the stack, so let's say we have 5, and then let's say we have 3, right? We would still get 2 from this because 2, or sorry, wait, no, sorry, we would get 3 because 3 was the last element that was added to the stack. Yeah, so sorry, I need to correct myself. So 3 would be the very last thing that we added to the stack. So therefore, it would be at the very top of the stack whenever we see out this. So perfect. All right, and if you guys have seen my videos on linked list, especially my one where I did insertion, deletion, and traversal over a singly linked list, you'll know that traversal is actually a very important part of the linked list, and it can be equally as important for any data structure, really. I mean, there's many cases where you might want to traverse through the data structure and maybe print all the values or find a specific value. So how exactly would we do that for a stack? So I'll show you guys a nice method that I like to go by. We're just going to do print stack. All right, and we are going to pass in a stack for the parameter. So I'll just name this stack with a capital, because why not? All right, and so the way that we'll do this is we're actually going to use one of the functions that we just went over. We're going to check that the stack is not empty. So we're going to do stack.empty. So as long as this returns false, it will continue to run this while loop. All right, and I need to add the parameters, of course. All right, and so for every time that the stack is not empty, we're just going to see out the top of the stack, right? And then next, we're going to actually pop that top element with with the pop function. So perfect, and this will work perfectly fine, and it won't destroy your your stack, because this is passing we are copying the stack in order to run this function. So therefore you can print this stack and still have the stack intact by the end of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys an example of that actually happening. So we're going to do, I'm just going to show the size at the end of it just to kind of show you guys that the stack is still intact. So we'll do print stack, and we will just pass in my stack. Okay, and now let's go ahead and run this, and we will see that we can actually traverse over this stack very well. So we get 3, 5, and 2, and that should line up because we get 3, and then we pop it, and then we get 5, and then we pop it, and then we get 2. All right, perfect. And then at the very end here, we can see that the stack was not affected in any way because it's not being passed by reference, it's being passed by value. So it's therefore copying itself into the function. So the only thing that is really getting changed here is the copy of the stack, not the actual stack itself. So we can see that the stack still has a size of 3, and I mean, just to really kind of show you guys that it's still fine, we're just going to do the my stack top to kind of show that the top value is still 3. Yeah, so there we go. Perfect. All right, and that's basically it. Stacks and queues are actually very simple. They're not very complex in any way, but they are very useful. They're a very good tool for certain situations where, just like I said earlier, like the undo button, or even like in a browser when you use like the backwards and the forward signs, or the buttons, like usually on the very top left corner. So yeah, those are good examples of stacks being used. So yeah, but if you guys have any if you guys have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I'm going to leave some references in the description in case you guys want to look a little bit more into this. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching.